to the phone.
Manlow's cast will stay on for 3 weeks.
¿Cómo estás?
Phone.
Manlow's cast will stay on for 3 weeks.
¿Cómo estás?
After the swelling goes down, he'll begin therapy to use his newly restored hand.
Your skin never looks better than on holiday. New Johnson's Holiday Skin Face is a daily moisturizer with a little self-tan that gradually builds a light, natural-looking tan. For holiday skin, even when you're not on holiday. New Johnson's Holiday Skin Face and Body too.
The perfect sausages add a splash of Liam herrings. Bangers and splash.
I'm sorry, Susan. I just can't do this anymore.
Nature's way robbed Patty McGeehee of her mind and body when a mosquito infected her with encephalitis.
Not being able to drive, not really being able to remember everything, not being able to function. And so it was a very long time to where I got back to where I was somewhat normal to do the things I needed to do.
Hey.
After a 1-year hiatus,
I came to pick up my roster.
A hypothesis, just the best guess.
Patty finally returned to teaching 7th grade science class at Hammond Junior High School in Louisiana.
Now, there's all kinds of ways.
And I guess about being back in the job about 4 months, I felt comfortable and not so nervous, and I was able to not depend on other people so much. You know, how do I do this procedure? What forms do I file for this student?
Strength and stamina intact, Patty has become a tireless activist. Last month, the Ponchatoula mayor appointed Patty to run the mosquito board that she lobbied to create.
We are one of the few locations across South Louisiana that doesn't have any detection program going. And I just felt like this was imperative that our parish get involved in the surveillance of these mosquitoes.
If and when there is another encephalitis outbreak in her parish, Patty McGeehee will be the first one to alert her community and help others avoid the devastation she suffered. Mother Nature became Mother's little helper in the case of Mary Green.
How'd you do last night?
Pretty good.
Any problems?
No.
How's the knee?
Knee feels much better.
Can we kind of take a look at it?
24 hours after tribal herbalist John Vincent and family practitioner Dr. James Hines applied a poultice or compress made out of poke root and cornmeal.
And as we can look at the poultice material right here, where there was once succulent bark, we can see that the bark is now dry.
They've returned to unveil the fruits of their labor.
And tell me how it's changed just from yesterday.
Well, I can bend that leg better than I could yesterday.
So the pain has gone down?
It's helped a lot.
So you put your leg down?
That successfully reduced some of the suffering associated with Mary's arthritic knee.
Okay, now yesterday you were telling me if you put it on a scale, the pain was at about 5. Today where would you put it? 2, 3, 4, 6?
3.
About 3.
Thank you, Miss Green, for allowing us to come into your home.
The amount of swelling is better. We'll continue to try it, and as long as the patient is improving, we'll continue to use it.
And so hopefully by
John will apply the poultice a dozen more times to help Mary on her road to recovery, walking on her feet again.
Where we'd taken the tendon and pulled it out.
2 days ago, Dr. Ron Matthews transferred Manlow's tendon in his left hand,
And he's a little swollen. He has a little...
freeing it from the ravages of Hansen's disease.
And circulation to his fingers good.
It's now healing under the support of this cast.
You come to therapy twice a day.
In 3 weeks, Manlow will begin working with an occupational therapist. Moving his thumb will soon involve rewiring his thinking.
So at the re-education process, he'll initially think about bending this finger, and when he does that, it'll make his thumb pop up.
3 tendon transfer surgeries later, Manlow is on his way to greater independence.
somebody had to feed you, somebody had to do everything for you. And now, thank God and thank to Dr. Matthews and this hospital I can do everything I needed.
Hi, Godfrey. Hi. What's going on?
Godfrey Bergeron is winning the battle against Vibrio,
Did you sleep well? How about
a flesh-eating bacterium sometimes found in raw oysters that nearly cost him his life.
Prior to that, for about 3 or 4 years, I wouldn't eat raw oysters because of that.
There, let me see the other one now. Yeah, you got a good grip there.
But then I kept seeing people constantly eating raw oysters and enjoying them so much, and I enjoy them so much. So, don't hear anything, I'll go ahead and eat them.
Next week, wonderful. So if you continue doing rehab, then we can get you home soon?
And in the last year or so, I've eaten oysters at that same restaurant probably 6, 8 times.
With rice and gravy? No, no oysters, definitely no oysters.
Want to try to take a couple steps, or you want to wait?
Godfrey's recovery begins one step at a time.
Just see at least how I tolerate it.
This is the first time in 8 weeks that he's been able to walk.
Keep pushing. How are you feeling? After watching him for 8 weeks, I just never thought I'd see him walk. Come on, keep doing it, honey.
You driving this bus?
I am so proud of you.
The next several weeks are going to be strictly build back up because this brought me all the way down. It'll be strictly exercise and just body management, getting it back to something normal.
Godfrey's doctors expect him to be fully recovered in 6 months, able to reconnect with the natural riches in this lush tropical city.
How you feel?
That are part of nature's way.
I feel like my medication's about to kick in.
Yes, it probably is.
This is an urgent appeal on behalf of the British Red Cross. Across the world, millions of people in desperate need look to the Red Cross for help. They look to the Red Cross for food, shelter, water and medicine, things most of us take for granted. But without regular donations of £2 a month, much of this help would stop. Please give £2 a month to the British Red Cross, or as much as you can afford, by calling 0800 074 4437 now. Your £2 a month could help us provide nourishing food, simple shelter, and life-saving medicine. £2 a month may not sound like much, but to many sick, hungry, and homeless people, it could mean the difference between life and death. Please help us save more lives now by calling 0800 074 4437 and giving £2 a month to the British Red Cross. Thank you.
Getting into debt is easy. Credit cards, overdrafts, loans, catalogues, more credit cards. Getting free
is the hard part. But if you feel trapped and have debts like these over £15,000 and you or your partner is in full-time employment, Debt Free Direct could have the key to set you free. Call us for free impartial advice. It may seem too good to be true, but there is a little-known piece of government legislation which, providing you qualify, could reduce your monthly payments by hundreds of pounds. Write off what you can't afford to repay, stop all hassle from your creditors, and set you debt-free in just 60 months. And it won't cost you a penny. So if you owe £15,000, excluding any mortgage, Debt Free Direct could have the key to set you free. Call us on 0800 043 9999 and set yourself debt-free.
Please give £2 a month to help the British Red Cross save lives. Call 0800 074 4441 now.
Come on, in you go.
So what kind of mileage do you do?
Well, I only drive at weekends.
That'll lower your insurance quote.
Don't touch the boots, love.
And it's annually serviced, that's great.
RAC Direct Insurance could give you a lower quote because we know more about driving. Call an RAC motor quoter for a tailored quote on 0800 850 580. The crimes were awful.
Darlie Roti killed her 2 sons.
The verdict, unanimous.
The jury gave her death sentence.
The date of execution set.
I've already sat down and decided how I want my funeral.
Then new evidence emerged.
She's gonna be murdered for something she didn't do.
There's a lot of innocent people been killed. To me, that is heartbreaking.
A race against time in Women on Death Row, Sunday at 9 on Reality TV.
At 3 this afternoon, we're back on New Zealand's frontline with another action-packed edition of Coast Watch. But next, we examine the phenomenon of erupting volcanoes, a threat that man has lived with for all time. This is Disasters of the Century.
The majesty of our planet's landscape. From vast flatlands and oceans to the craggy peaks of the highest mountains, we are defined more by our natural surroundings than we're often aware. There are forces lurking beneath the Earth's crust, forces powerful enough to shape our landscape, alter the Earth's natural weather patterns, and snuff out entire civilizations in a heartbeat. The island of Martinique in the Caribbean was settled in 1635 by the French explorer Djembe, who quickly established the city of Saint-Pierre. Over the next 100 years, Saint-Pierre would become the hub of Martinique's island economy.
This quarter of Fort Saint-Pierre is an agricultural district, a fertile area, with large plantations, large agricultural activities. And parallel to this quarter would also be the Mouillage quarter, more to the south. The Mouillage quarter is linked in effect to the boats that came to supply the colony with provisions, because not everything was cultivated or produced on site.
Dubbed the Paris of the Caribbean, the community of almost 30,000 matures into a cultural center for the island.
There were buildings, hotels, the theater of Saint-Pierre, which was very reputable. The theater received companies from all over Europe. The metropolitans that arrived could hear opera songs being sung out in the street. It was the fashion, too. I remember the fashion. People were well dressed. People read. There was culture.
Marking the Martinique skyline are the majestic peaks of Mont Pelée, which stand nearly 1,400 meters above sea level. Housing what was once an active volcano, Pelée had not seen any activity in decades. But by the late 1800s, Mont Pelée begins to show signs of waking. By 1902, sulfurous gas emissions from Pelée become more frequent and are noticed in the city of Saint-Pierre.
The first warning signs were visible as of 1882, with the clouds of sulfuric gases appearing at the summit of the volcano, and more importantly, the sulfur smells, which were very noticeable to the north of Saint-Pierre in the commune of Precheur.
But for many,